Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network. Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, self-defense, and more. Now, here are the hosts of Gun Sports Radio, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome. This is Gun Sports Radio. I'm Dave.
Hey, and I'm Lance.
And we are having a ball. We got Joe Holyfield, commonly known as Hollywood. We got
true.
Michael Schwartz. What are you doing? Signing up San Diego County gun owners on our show?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
You're the man, folks. You have not lived. You need to hook up to San Diego County gun owners because I'm telling you, it's the best. Wait a minute. I got to put my hat on here. This is for Hollywood.
Come on.
If I don't put this hat on, see, then.
Oh, my gosh.
Let me see.
Why would you do that? That is horrible.
What is that?
That's horrible is what
It's
that
a
is.
Chevy hat.
Get that bow tie.
A Chevy.
Doesn't that feel good? Gosh, that feels good. That bow tie.
If they paid me as much money as they paid you to wear a hat, I might
They
wear
didn't
one
pay me.
too.
They just took me to Vegas, put me at the Wynn Hotel, and let Michelle and I go out and drive new Chevy Tahoes and went off-roading.
We got to get these blue oval guys in here really quick.
Them blue oval guys. I talk to those guys every week, so I don't want to hear nothing out of you guys. So, hey, this segment is brought to you by, actually the show is brought to you by Gun Range San Diego, the Nordstroms of gun ranges, folks. I'm here to tell you, the only difference between that and Nordstrom's is the price. Because these guys, I don't know how they make a living. 7 days a week, 7853 Balboa Avenue, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. They'll even work on your birthday. If you've got a family get-together, maybe you got a bachelor party, because Joe will even tell you, more and more people are coming to the Gun Range San Diego for bachelor parties.
We get tons of bachelor parties.
No more of this going to the bar.
We're getting bachelorette parties.
Really?
Yes. It's super fun. We love it when they come in. We get them, 8, 12, 14 people at a time. And they're like, hey, you know what? We want to start our day with, something fun. And they come in and they do a little shooting. Not everybody golfs. Not everybody does that kind of thing. So they come out. They want to do something manly. That's a guy thing to do. Yeah. And they start their day at Gun Range San Diego playing a little golf shooting some guns. Yeah. And they have a great time.
And you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to get drunk. You're not going to fall down and get arrested.
Exactly.
You're going to have a lot of good stories.
Absolutely.
Maybe a little powder burn here.
Yeah, well, and then the last one's they brought the bachelor in, the future husband, and then they all pitched in and got him a really nice 1911 as a wedding gift.
Whoa!
And they said, hey, you know what? We live in this kind of society. You need to be able to protect your wife.
How cool is that?
And they all chipped in, and of course he did it, the legal way. It was all in his name, but they all chipped in, and he got him a really nice 1911.
Wow, that's huge.
That is nice.
It is. All right. Hey, we got Michael Schwartz in our first segment, and I'm sure you're just bubbling with news.
Bubbling with news, exactly right. So there's what I wanted to do was...
I love that bag.
I wanted
that shot there.
Isn't that great?
He's taking your picture.
Oh, no, my purse. Yeah, your purse. That made it to the internet. Yeah. But there's a lot going on with CCWs and the sheriff and the cities and everything going on. So I get questions all the time.
I know.
No matter where I am, people, they want to talk about CCWs all over the county. So I thought I'd spend a few minutes here kind of breaking down where we're at, where we're headed, what's going on all the different levels. And there are a couple things going on. One is that Sheriff Gore has actually contacted us a couple months ago and said, hey, we want to sit down and talk about our CCW, specifically our good cause policy. So why don't you come in, bring some of your ideas. I want to make it more objective. Mm-hmm. And I want to, get outside of the bubble of just being risk based. Right now, if you want a CCW, you have to prove to the sheriff that there's some sort of risk that sets you apart from the general public. So he said, hey, those are the two things I want to concentrate on. So we had a couple of meetings. And the first meeting was just kind of it was a conversation about an hour and a half. And, I made it crystal clear that our stance is that good causes, self-protection, personal defense, self-defense. That's it. That's it. That's the only way to truly be objective and to,
no middle ground on that.
Right. Non-discriminatory. If you want it to really be objective and non-discriminatory, and by the way, the state of California, legally, he could use that as good cause. That's totally legal, self-defense, personal protection, that sort of thing. And they said, well, no. We want some kind of categories. And I said, okay, well, let's have a conversation on some of the categories. And some of the things we threw around were, well, the type of activity that, say, a real estate, a realtor does. They show houses. They say, hey, I'm alone in this house. Come and see me. So. All right, what if somebody just says, shows their realtor's license? Wouldn't that set them apart from the general public? And it's objective. You either have your license or you don't. And I showed at least 24, somewhere around 24 of these different categories. What if somebody is handicapped? One of our members he had cancer of the spine and now has no feeling from the waist down, and he can walk, thank God. But he walks kind of slowly, and he feels, hey, every time I leave the house, I'm a target.
Oh, so absolutely.
That's objective. This guy's, handicapped. We talked about DD-214s. We talked about...
What about a reporter on a TV station that has to go out and fill and shoot a crime, a scene?
Right, and we gave plenty... We even talked about, hey, what about an NRA pistol instructor? Well, doesn't everybody pretty much agree... that an NRA,
Maybe.
Not to mention he more often than not, he's carrying guns and ammo to teach a class.
From point A to point B.
Bingo.
Yeah, you don't want him knocked over.
So you show an NRA pistol instructor license. You show a DD-214. When you get out of the military, you get a DD-214. You show a realtor's license. We showed a number of these different objective ways. It wasn't what we preferred, but it would cover a whole lot of people, in San Diego, and that we felt was progress and worth a conversation. So in the second meeting, he presented what he said were changes to his policy, but in no way were changes to his policy, and not one word of what we recommended in the first meeting made it to this new document that he showed us. Not one word.
What was in it?
So it was basically a list of ways to say no to a concealed weapon permit application.
So he just wanted to find out the positives so he could figure out a way to twist it into a negative.
Right, exactly. It sounds exactly what it sounds like to me.
Because he doesn't know.
Like, give me all your questions so I can learn how to answer, so I can
be
learn
negative.
Give you the no answer correctly.
Well, I what it was is he further explained, did a slightly better job of explaining what his current extremely subjective policy is. And I mean extremely subjective. It's really up to him whether or not he wants to give you a CCW. So I'm just going to give you an example. Like I said, we just said, hey, say you're a realtor. You have a real estate license. That's objective. You can check that, that sort of thing. Now, here's what he offered in response to what we suggested. I'm going to read just one of them to you. The occupation or business of the applicant is such that no means of protection, security, or risk avoidance can mitigate the risk other than the carrying of a concealed firearm. Now, guys, if you are looking to get a concealed weapon permit and you go on a website and you see a statement like that, now that's just one, granted, but all the rest of them were very vague and subjective in the same way. Who does that apply to? Like, does that give you any better idea of whether or not you're able to apply?
So does that mean if you... if it's, I don't even understand.
See, that's exactly. That's the point.
Yeah, under what he said, that doesn't apply to anyone because we all have the ability to dial 911 according to that answer or that deal.
And if you look at these different the things that he the different points, the different little bullet points that he provided, if you're familiar with the CCW policy now, if you've been around people that apply or instructors, that sort of thing, if you have any knowledge of what's going on right now, this is no change to his policy in any way. Now, what he did, what was said was, and he actually used the word faith. He wanted us to have faith that they want to take their policy and issue more permits under their policy. Guys, faith is for Sunday morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have any faith that that's going to happen anyway.
Let me see. Faith and government. You know what? I think we should take a break because it's time to take a break.
Yeah, well.
Because on that,
maybe we can
what
pray
a perfect
for
way to take a break. And we'll all go and unanimously throw up in the trash can.
Okay, I'm leaving.
All right. We'll be right back, folks. Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. The Answer. folks. Hey, welcome back to Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170, The Answer. This segment's brought to you by Trident Gunsmithing. Go to www.tridentgunsmithing.com and learn to hunt the right way. You can enroll in a hunter education course. The instructor is Steve Shaw. He'll teach you to know your gun, know your responsibility, know proper etiquette. Students may register online at wildlife.ca.gov/hunter-education. Use the zip code 92126. Students can take a traditional or online course. I highly recommend going to Trident and sitting in the classroom. But truly, go to Trident Gunsmithing for more information. Trident Gunsmithing, 858-577-0576, or go to TridentGunsmithing.com. The hunting class and the sausage making class is right there on the Weber site.
Oh, that does sound good.
It does sound good. Yeah, well, we're sitting here talking about In-N-Out Burger, and we actually have a trader in the house doesn't like In-N-Out.
Well, did everybody come back from their, chew their gum and rinse their mouth out from throwing up from
exactly. I feel much better.
Sheriff Gore?
Hey, we got Mr. John Dillon on the line. I'm assuming no. He's cutting his grass.
All right. Well, if he's not online, I just got to say it. If you haven't been over to Trident, Juan and Dan are top shelf.
Oh, absolutely.
And they put on this hunter safety class program, and it's really the best in the county. They got the best facilities. They brought in some of the best teachers, and it's really a great place to, especially if you have youth people, to come in there to teach them how to hunt and the laws and regulations and the safety. It's really a good deal. And those guys are, they do former team guys, former military. So everything they do is top shelf.
They must have heard you. Juan just texted me and he says, I need to mention that they're now offering a Utah CCW class.
Oh, nice.
It'll be their first class to be on October 8th. So if you want to sign up, because it's going to get a long list, 858-860-4467, and the license will be enabled for you to carry a. There you go.
What am I holding up right now?
I don't know. It looks like a
Utah concealed weapons.
Was that Utah? I thought that was the Dirty Dams. Oh, no. I thought that was your special car. Anyway, if you get that concealed handgun in the following states: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Delaware, Georgia, Indiana, in Idaho, Iowa, Kansas.
It's about 30 of them.
Why don't you just mention the one you don't get? Louisiana, be California. Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Vermont, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. So anyway, if you want to get your Utah CCW, you're going to need to go to the class, 858-860-4467. And you already have yours.
I got mine. If you have Utah, Virginia, and Florida, and I travel a lot. When I was on the shooting team, so I drove around all over the place. And if you have those three, you're pretty much covered, except for some of the states that do not reciprocate, like California. Yeah, and it's really, and Utah is a great one to have. It covers a ton of states, and especially for those of us here in California that might want to go up to Yosemite or the Grand Canyon, something like that. They reciprocate, so you don't have because if John was here, he would tell you. We get the question all the time, like, "Well, I want to travel. What does this state say? What does that state say?" And if you have the Utah concealed weapons permit, it covers a lot of different states, which makes it really easy when you're traveling.
Arizona and Texas.
I want to go back, Mike. I want to go back to Sheriff Gore. Did he ever give you a definite reason why he's so against issuing CCWs?
There's a couple of layers in that question. When I met him for the very first time, he indicated to me that he really just wasn't a fan of the general population owning guns. And his exact quote was, if you have a revolver, an old revolver, and you keep it in a safe up in your closet, okay, fine. So he's not really a big fan, at least it's what he told me when we first met, of civilians owning firearms. He's definitely not a fan of them carrying them. He said it didn't really feel like it makes people safer, that sort of thing. However, the other layer of this is that he hides behind the state law. And, has an interpretation of the state law that makes it sound like he's unable to accept self-defense and issue more permits, that sort of thing, which is totally untrue. There's a good 38 or 40 counties out of the 58 that do this, that do exactly what we're asking Sheriff Gore to do. And in the meeting, his legal counsel was there, and I, for the first time, got their side to admit and state clearly that, yes, they have 100% authority to define good cause any way that they want. So they just have to have a good cause policy. So that was the first time ever in years of arguing with him that they've actually admitted, oh, yeah, okay, we have 100% authority to do that, but they choose not to do it. So this is a personal issue. Personal issue, with the sheriff.
Does anybody have any idea how many CCWs he has issued?
Right now, there's about 1,500 active in the county.
And
1,500.
And you've talked about on the show before. How does that compare to the rest of the counties and the rest of the United States based on population?
Per capita, it's anemic. It's way low.
Yeah, because we've got like 3 million people in this.
Yeah, just about 3.5 million. Just up in Orange County, for example, and they issue that sheriff is issuing, doing a better job of issuing than ours is, but still not. They're still not like what people would see as shall issue. And there's about 10,000 CCW holders in Orange County.
Well, then
that's 8 times more.
Okay, so then. Do you have to live in Orange County to get a CCW? Can you go up to Orange County and apply and get one?
You have to live
You have to live there.
You have to live there. He can only issue to people who live in San Diego. Orange County can only issue to people who live in Orange County. So we're kind of looking at, all right, well, is this your final offer? Because there's another candidate in the race that we need to talk about, who is talking about issuing CCWs, and that's somebody we're actually going to. Our board.
Didn't we have him on?
We had him on. Our board, Dave Myers.
Yep.
And we're still vetting him. We haven't endorsed him, but we are talking about, and Lance Pelkey's going to be at the board meeting for San Diego County Gun Owners in October. We're going to talk about whether or not we should give him an early endorsement, because it just doesn't look like Gore's going to budge in any way. So that's the first CCW issue, is Gore's not doing anything. There are two other things going on. One is we're continuing to get closer and closer to La Mesa and Escondido issuing through their police chiefs, because a police chief has the same authority as a sheriff to issue. It's clear as day. That's unambiguous.
And the reason they haven't is because of this memorandum of understanding they've had for so many years that they just so it's all under one umbrella, we're going to push it to the sheriff. But that's just has been kind of like a handshake at this point. Like
in 1996, all the police chiefs, and there are 9 in the county, all the police chiefs said, "All right, well, we're just going to have this all handled in one central location through the sheriff." But the thing
that doesn't tie their hands in. They can't. They just said we're just going to do this.
It doesn't tie their hands because it's their authority. It's the chief of police. It's his authority. Now, the big difference between a police chief and a sheriff is elected by the people.
Correct.
Where a police chief is appointed by a city council. So the police chief has the authority, but he's not going to exercise that authority
without the city council's approval or direction.
Exactly. That could be potential.
So Santee, considering they just wrote that letter to Sheriff Gore, may be one of the first ones, I would think.
So that's the third part. So Santee does not have a police chief.
Oh, okay.
There are 9 that have a police chief, 9 that do not have a police chief.
There's 18
city councils.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we're working on is getting especially the contract cities. So these are the cities that contract with Sheriff Gore for their law enforcement. We're getting them to pass these similar resolutions, and we're talking to the cities like Vista, who contracts with the sheriff. And honestly, the more city council members I talk to, the more I realize that we're in the majority. It's just no one has spoken up.
The silent majority.
Yeah, and so the more organized we get, and the more we speak up and do things in an official manner, the better.
And I like our lady up there in Vista anyway. She's super. She's
Amanda Rigby.
She's the best.
She's fantastic, and they have some really great. Their mayor, Judy Ritter, and they have this new guy named Joe Green, who's fantastic, and they have a really great city council. So we're meeting with them, and that's a city council that I think is potential to pass the resolution saying, "Hey, look, Sheriff, we contract you. We send you millions of dollars for law enforcement. We want you to do this, for our citizens."
That would be great. But what I think, what you were saying, it might even carry more weight is if the Escondidos and the Lakesides who have their own chief of police or their own police force, if they're doing it, then that's going to kind of show Gore it's happening in your county. You need to, change the way you're thinking.
I think it'll do a couple things. It'll do that. It'll also show. It'll kind of take away the excuse. Well, gee, I can't do it because of state law. Well,
exactly.
There are people in your jurisdiction that are doing it. How come they're not in jail if you're saying that you can't do it because it's against law? But the other thing it's going to do is if you go to a state like Arizona or you name it, you name the state, Wisconsin, Kentucky, you name the state, it is normal to have a CCW.
Absolutely.
Out here it's exotic, and it shouldn't be. So the more people who, we're way behind. We're very behind the times when it comes to CCW. So the more people who have a CCW, the more normal it will be.
Absolutely. People don't, if you've born and raised, lived in California your life, or you came here as a young adult and as you spent most of your adulthood, we are in the minority here. I mean, there are more states that do a shall issue than not.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, tons. I mean,
and then explain the difference between a shall issue and a will issue.
So, sure, a shall issue means, or actually, it's between a shall issue or may issue.
Or may issue. Sorry,
shall issue means that you passed the background check, you've taken the training, you fill out the application, then we shall issue you a CCW. It's not subjective.
Right.
We will issue. You do these things, we'll issue. May issue means, hey, you pass the background check, you fill out the application, go through the training. We may or may not. We have the choice to issue a CCW, and then there's typically some criteria. Now, most states, many states not too long ago were may issue. Everybody's going to shall issue.
Right. So, California, believe it or not, is a shall issue state.
California is a may issue state.
Well, San Diego is a may issue county.
No, the state. So we have this good cause requirement makes us may issue because that gives the authority over to the sheriff. Most sheriffs, we're talking like 40 out of their 58 counties, like 40 or so sheriffs issue using self-defense as good cause. So the state is always may issue. There's nothing, even no matter what your policy is, it's still may issue. But most sheriffs, the vast majority of sheriffs, issue using self-defense as good cause, which in effect makes it you get the same result as a shall issue state.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick break. By the way, I just got a text from Steve Pearson today. In 1787, the United States Constitution was created. The Constitution is the supreme law of the country.
Amen.
Happy Constitution Day, folks. All right, we're going to take a small break. When we come back, I don't know, we got some guy in the house. I don't know who it is. Oh, it's Hollywood.
What?
Right here on AM 1170. We are the answer. All right, folks, welcome to Gun Sports Radio. Trying to figure out what kind of car to get for Lauren.
Yeah.
For Laura. Let her get her own. I'll help her. If she's dead set on a particular car, you just tell her to tell me when. And you know what? Hour and a half at the dealer.
I think NSX
none of this 6 hours.
Her dream car is an NSX. I told her as long as it has 4 tires and a steering wheel,
and it's got airbags to save her.
I don't even need that. I would drive a Jeep.
Well, you're going to have to because you're not going to fit in the NSX.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about her. All right. Hey, this segment is brought to you by Guns Range San Diego. If you've never been, trust me, folks, you've totally missed out. It is a little on the busy side, so it doesn't hurt to call, make an appointment. 858-573-1911 or go to gunrangesandiego.com. I think you can schedule appointments for the range time and everything on the website as well as calling in.
Yeah, well, we only take reservations if it is 8 or more.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have, we do stay pretty busy because we are the premier gun range in San Diego.
Busy.
Sincerely, we are. So if you want to get in there, if you have a group of 8 or more, you've got a bachelor party, a girls' night out, a guys' night out, whatever it is you got going on. If you have 8 or more, you can email range@gunrangesd.com, and you can set up an appointment where you can have the range to yourself. Or, just show up and we'll put, 3 to 4 at a lane and we'll get everybody in as soon as we can, that kind of thing.
And if you have a split personality, no, you cannot come with your 8 self-friends.
That doesn't count as 2. No.
So, all right, so what's rocking out there?
Well, we still got Smith & Wesson continued their rebate program until the end of September. So through the end of September, you can get a $75 rebate on the Smith & Wesson M&P. So as long as they keep that rebate going, we're going to keep them on sale. So instead of $439 or $399, you get a $75 rebate. That means it's $315 for one of the best concealable 9mm or 40 caliber guns on the California approved roster. So with the help of San Diego County gun owners and San Diego, the gun range San Diego, you can get the best concealable striker firearm for about $315.
And what does San Diego County gun owners got to do with it?
Well, they're going to allow you to get the concealed weapon permit.
I was checking on that. I didn't know if there was a special going on.
No,
we weren't aware of.
You know what we do is, if you are a member of San Diego County gun owners, Wednesday night's $5.
Yeah. $5 for
and instead of $12, you come by on Wednesday nights, show your membership card, and you only pay $5 to shoot.
You know, for an hour, or how long?
Well, it's for an hour if we have people waiting. If we don't have anyone waiting, you shoot as long as you want to. You got ammo, you want to shoot, you keep shooting.
Hey, you want to know the trick to that, folks? Bring ammo and invite Joe to go out and shoot with you. And you'll get all the. That's how you do it, huh, Lance?
You'll get on.
You know, I want to thank Veronica from the gun range. She, one of the things we've been doing with San Diego County gun owners is we're getting all the gun shop owners together to figure out ways that they can work together to.
We're actually getting that crew together.
That's been happening. Veronica has been fantastic. Her leadership's been really fantastic, and really she's very, very interested in expanding the community in San Diego and coming to the meetings, providing input, and I just wanted to thank her for that on the air, because she's doing a wonderful job.
Well,
the gun ranges are no different than a car dealership. There's no reason why we can't have all the gun ranges on the same page, just like we have all the car dealers on the same page.
Well, yeah, and she believes, and I beat this saying to death, that a rising tide lifts all boats, and she believes that same thing. And there's nothing ever good comes from any gun store, gun range, firearms dealer, anybody associated with the sport. Nothing good comes from anybody like that going out of business. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It hurts everybody.
Absolutely. So she's always trying to support our neighbors and our competitors and our friends, the whole 9 yards. But I tell you, it's her birthday weekend.
Oh, nice.
You didn't send her the present? We gave you the money. What the hell you do with our money? We gave you all that money to buy her a present.
Hey, she's cliff diving in Acapulco right now on your dime.
No, she's in Napa. She's in the Napa wine. She's up in the. Yeah, I'll be keeping track of her.
Why you got to tell everything you know? So I'm trying to keep her on the DL.
Yeah, you're in so much trouble. You're in so much trouble. But no, seriously, folks. One of the things that's neat about the gun range San Diego is the training. And I think that really needs to be spoken about a lot. You got many trainers down there. So
we got
have your choice.
Manny Mendoza, who's former Chula Vista SWAT. He's they're trying to get him to come back to train those guys now, and he's
going back down to SWAT.
Well, yeah, but he's
tell him to come to the class at Gun Range San Diego.
Well, he's been retired for a little while, so now he's thinking why don't I want to go back to a 40-hour week?
Yeah.
But they're trying to get him back down there because he's so good at what he does.
Sure.
And then we have Wendy, who is the executive administrative person at
San Diego County Gun Owners.
Exactly, and she is one of our instructors. She's with the Black Cat Firearms
and runs the Well Armed Woman chapter.
Yeah, and she brings classes in there a lot, and we give her a number out anytime you want it, and so we really do have some of the best trainers around. Not just people who know how to use a gun, but people who know how to train other people.
That's important.
Yeah.
Lance, you haven't been talking all day. What's going on?
We'll
buy your house.
Gonna sell the house. We were talking before we came on the show just about. I just think there's like a groundswell. It's not happening here yet with a sheriff, but other sheriffs in the United States saying you all have to be ready for that 4 minutes. First 4 minutes, if something bad happens, it's on you. Type of deal. So we talked about the two sheriffs in Florida and some other ones. So it's got to happen. Also, too, why not have the members, San Diego County gun owners? You got 900 members now. Why not have them all kind of identify what part of San Diego they live in and write their elected officials? We can help them with the form letters and that kind of stuff.
I agree.
And and the elected officials now get bombarded with this and start asking, why aren't we doing something?
Right.
The more people, the pressure, they get that. And we talked about Richard Bailey, and that whole deal when he said that Coronado only has 4 people show up for a deal.
That's
but
terrible.
Letters and stuff like that happens. You got 900 people and growing with San Diego County gun owners.
Well, look what's going on in all around, with all these riots and what have you. In St. Louis and what have you. And all these people are carrying, but you're not hearing any trouble. You're not hearing anybody shooting anybody. You're not hearing anybody getting off. And I know when the reporters, it's open carry in St. Louis. Okay, where's the problem? There isn't a problem.
Right. They do that for ratings.
I know, but that's okay. I think it backfires because it lets the rest of the public know, hey, they carry open carry and say, those people are not happy right now, but no one shot nobody.
Well, they do their 10-second trailer, during your favorite show, late night show at 9 o'clock. Open carry is legal in Missouri. Stay tuned at 11 for details, and then you get there at 11 for details. Like, they're carrying, but nothing happened.
Yeah, we can't. We're sorry, we don't have anything. And I think people that carry are more responsible than people that don't carry.
I agree.
Well, that's a statistic fact. With people that have CCWs, far less crime. Than the general public. Far less crime than you name the category. People that are responsible, law-abiding citizens don't go through, or they go through the process to get a CCW. Criminals don't go through the process to get a CCW.
And when you get a CCW, that's like a badge of honor.
Yeah, you don't want to mess that up.
You're sure not going to screw it up.
Yeah, you are very deliberate on all of your actions and all of your words and those kind of things. And I want to touch base on what Lance was saying earlier about getting together and, writing your congressman, calling your congressman, putting pen to paper. That is super important. And I think we all should do that, whether we're a member of any PAC or not. However, with that being said, one of the things I love about being a member of San Diego County Gun Owners is I know every time Mike opens his mouth to a public official, that public official hears 900 voices.
If not more.
Because that's why I'm part of San Diego County Gun Owners.
Too.
Is so that when Mike opens his mouth, it's not just Mike, it's not just me, but it's 1,000 people at a time speaking to any time he talks. It's 1,000 people at a time, and that's why he's in the front.
And that's growing monthly, right? Don't you get new members every month?
Yeah, it's averaging about a member and a half a day. So
does that surprise you a little bit?
It's a very, very happy and welcome surprise
because you jumped into this both feet, eyes closed, and I had no idea.
Yeah, I think the original plan we were going to be somewhere around 450 or 500 right now,
and you'd have been happy.
We're at 900 and growing, and we just 2 or 3 people signed up just over the weekend.
Right.
So I extremely happy.
Well, do you get people to sign up? Not trying to pump the show, but after the show, do you notice you get a little spike?
No matter what we do, if we. The more people we get the message out to, and the more places they hear it. So I'll give you an example. We go to a gun show, and we set up a booth. Somebody comes up, and if they've never heard of us, they get on the list, and they may or may not show up, but it's kind of a low likelihood they will. They like the message. They want to follow us for a while. If they hear us on the radio and see us at the gun range San Diego, see our logo there,
it's a layering effect,
and their buddy talks to them about it, and they go,
okay, it really does.
And then they,
we were talking earlier too. I signed up for the Brady people. I signed up for their deal just because I want to hear what they're saying.
Well, yeah,
it's horrible. This last email they send out is this deal. Oh, they're going to get silencers now and all this other stuff, and call your congressperson, call your people, and whatever. And it's just crazy.
Brady group, huh?
That's the Brady stuff. You ought to hear what they're saying. It's horrible. And when I was saying earlier, but what's happening is in the absence of a voice, then people will listen to whoever's talking. And if it's the Brady people that are talking smack, then the people are going to drink the Kool-Aid.
And they've been talking smack.
It's just BS.
Well, they're truly an extremist organization. There's never been a time, they use public safety to further their political agenda.
Right.
They're not truly interested in public safety.
No.
They're interested in their political agenda, and they use public safety to get there. You've never heard them say, wow, this gun law goes too far. We can't support this.
No, you'll never hear that.
So, I mean, they're just an extremist organization.
And who we got coming up next?
We've got
Dave Harrington.
Right.
Dave
He's Elisa Viejo.
Yeah. And he's a 20-year veteran of the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Yep. We're going to talk. He's running for sheriff up in Orange County.
He was the sheriff's department, and now he's the mayor.
Yep.
And now he's going to run for sheriff.
Yep.
And this guy, why can't he move to San Diego?
We're working on it. Let's take up a collection. He can live in your truck.
Yeah, he can live in my house. I live in my truck.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, folks. This is Gun Sports Radio. Make sure you spread around to all your friends how important this show is to you if you have any care about your Second Amendment rights to the Constitution. And as a bonus, join San Diego County gun owners. $10 a month. Come on, I'll loan you the money. Right here on Gun Sports Radio. We'll be back in a moment. Folks, hey, welcome back. Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. The Answer. We definitely want to thank Gun Range San Diego for all their support. Also, Trident Gunsmithing. Can't beat them. TridentGunsmithing.com. And since John did not call in, we definitely want to give a big shout out to Gatsky, Dillon, and Balance, LLP. This is your one-stop shop for any type of legal advice as far as guns go, and they do other things as well, but cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com, 760-431-9501. John will be more than happy to answer your question. Doesn't cost anything, and he has a plethora of information.
And what is peace of mind worth?
A phone call.
I'm telling you. And having him in your corner gives you the peace of mind, and there's nothing worth more than a peace of mind.
Absolutely. All right, right now on the line, we've got Dave Harrington. He's a 28-year veteran of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and he is, right now, he's the mayor, and I guess he says, enough of this mayor stuff. Let's go back and become a sheriff in 2018. Dave, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys.
So you went from sheriff to mayor to sheriff. What's the deal?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And I don't know who offered me their truck, but unless it's got a swimming pool, I don't know if I'll.
It does. It leaks water like crazy.
I'm going to stay in the truck. You can stay in the house. I'll just sleep in the back of my Explorer.
As long as the bathtub doesn't leak, I guess it's all right.
You're golden, my man. So what's the deal?
So I was extraordinarily happily retired. I did 20 and a half years in the department, and most of my time was spent in operations on the street, basically arresting people. That's what I like to do, because you make citizens safer when you're taking criminals off the street.
Sure.
It's just a well-known fact. So I was happily retired. After my career, I ran for office. I won, and I'm the mayor this year. And what happened was, you look at a lot of really poor public safety policy that's going on. You have the prison realignment known as AB 109. That made us less safe. Proposition 47 came along, which decriminalized a bunch of criminal activity. That made us less safe. And then what will be exponentially worse is Proposition 57, which will allow a bunch of violent felons to be released from prison early, and that makes us less safe. And at the same time, I don't see anybody standing up, not only standing up for law enforcement, but standing up against these bad public safety policies. So when you do that, when you create that vacuum, there will be some politician that will step right in and fill it for you. They'll define who you are, they'll define what you believe, and they will pass bad policy. And that's what we're seeing.
So what policy is sheriff? And I think you probably know where I'm headed. What policy is sheriff would make the public more safe?
Oh, I think the question over a shall issue policy versus a good cause policy. Well, I don't understand. It's one of these constitutional things. First of all, sheriff is a constitutional office. It's an elected position. And therefore, you're supposed to kind of stand up for the Constitution. It's kind of a thing. So when I look at especially the Second Amendment, I know that's what you're talking about. When I look at how we've decided somehow that one you have to petition the government to exercise, and I don't understand that. We don't make you petition for any other right that you have. I can't kick your door in, search your house, and then tell you, if you want to exercise your Fourth Amendment right, you gotta submit an application and give me a reason why you need to have the Fourth Amendment. So we don't deal with any other right. So as a sheriff, I think you have to advocate, and I love what you guys are doing. I love the organizing and the advocacy, because that's really important. You have to constantly remind people, because if you don't, somebody will remind them of a different point.
Yeah, exactly.
So I view it as my job. You got to stand up and say, no, this good cause it's nonsense. It's shall issue should be the law of the land. It will be. I think the Supreme Court's going to have to look at it. So I view that this particular, office and this particular point is not doing enough. Certainly not in Orange County. I just became aware of what you guys got going on in San Diego, but it's the Constitution, for crying out loud. I don't understand I don't even understand what we're talking about sometimes.
You got over almost 30 years of public service. The majority of that in law enforcement. Can you we have a lot of listeners. You bring a lot of weight to this subject. As a person who has that kind of experience and insight, what, in your opinion, does a trained and obedient citizen who is armed create a hazard or a plus to society?
It's a plus, and it's proven through data. This is not my opinion. If you look at any study, people who are lawfully carrying a firearm are more likely to help others. They're less likely to commit crime. They are less likely to misuse their firearm, and they're far more likely to protect themselves, and more successfully so. We're reactive. Law enforcement is reactive. It's kind of one of those. Let me tell you something. Every guy that ever worked for me, every day I went to work, you always want I want to stop it before it happens. You want to be able to be proactive and stop it, but it's just not. It's the nature of the beast, right? So they are a plus, and again, not my opinion. It's factual. This is backed up by data. They are a plus to society. Criminals are a negative. Right. And yet in our state, they are trying to pass laws where if you're a criminal and you used it, we're not going to, we're going to lower your enhancement for using it.
Mm-hmm. And for
doesn't make any sense. We're going to reward the criminals for using them and punish the law.
Makes no sense at all.
And for the listeners in San Diego, a lot of may not know, San Diego County Gun Owners actually has a sister organization called Orange County Gun Owners, which is doing the exact same plan. We're doing the exact same thing. Dave, you came and spoke to our meeting, and there were about 30 people.
Thank you for having me on that.
You bet. Thanks for coming. There were about 30 people there, and a bunch of our board members were there for Orange County Gun Owners, and people were very, very. I think we had you talking for a good 2 hours, and I think we put you through the ringer when it came to CCWs and how you're going to issue. And I got to tell you, everybody was really, really happy with what you had to say. What would you we're fighting a battle down here with CCWs. We're nowhere. I think Orange County has about 10,000 issued. We have about 1,500 issued. What would you say to a sheriff or someone in a position of authority with law enforcement? What would you tell them, when it comes to, your best reason to allow more people, who are law-abiding and pass the test and everything to carry?
Simple. It makes your community safer. When pretty much everything I look at is through this lens, or am I safer or am I less safe? Mm-hmm. If the only people who have guns are criminals, I am less safe.
Right.
If I am safer because there are law-abiding citizens there with a gun, then I am safer. So the lens to me is really clear. What you look through. I'll tell you, I would shy away a little bit from the numbers. Just because someone says, "Oh, I got this many," and they only have that many. It's much more important to know the foundational belief of the person, because that's what drives policy. What do they believe? Where are you approaching this from?
Right.
Whether it's the good cause approach or if it's the shall issue approach.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I tell you what, Dave, we're behind you 100%. We wish you were moving to San Diego, but Alicia Viejo's it's kind of a nice little community, so I'll let you slide on that one.
No, man, if my wife hears it, she's going to start looking at property, dude. She's going to start looking stuff
you got a place to stay. I'll live in my truck. I'm not kidding.
This house has an ocean. She'll say, look, this house has an ocean view. That guy's truck has an ocean view.
That's right, and it moves around, too. Dave, thank you
mobile.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, if people want to support you, I know we're in San Diego. What's a way to get a hold of you and find out what you're up to?
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you some info. My email address is dave@harrington4sheriff.com.
Okay.
And my website is harrington4sheriff.com. You can find me on Facebook at that same address.
Okay.
Feel free to reach out to me. I answer pretty quick. And I appreciate you guys letting me come on and blab away.
And if you ever have any information that you'd like to share with our listeners, please do not hesitate. Get a hold of Michael, and he'll be more than happy to give you, because we will support politicians that support, what we're after, and that's Second Amendment rights, right to carry. Just all we want is our constitutional rights, and as long as you're supporting that, we're here to support you.
Absolutely.
All you have to do is ask.
Let me just add one more thing. I wrote this down because I heard you guys talking, and I wrote down two things. The first was advocacy, because that's extremely important. And It's not just letter writing; it's phone calling, it's emails, and it's being present, going to meetings, to committee meetings, and things of this nature. You have to let them know that you're out there. And number two is hold them accountable. If you're supporting somebody and all of a sudden they turn on you, you have to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm telling you, I know you're moving to San Diego. Tell the wife it's a really nice beachfront property. You're going to love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she loves it down there.
All right, buddy. Hey, well, we look forward to having you on, and good luck, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Right on. Sounds great.
That reminds me, my dad told me one time, he goes, son, there's going to be a time when you have the ability to pay your rent or make your truck payment.
Yeah.
He goes, you make your truck payment because you can drive your truck you can sleep in your truck, but you can't drive your apartment to work.
All right, folks, Gun Sports Radio. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Want to thank Gun Range San Diego, Trident Gunsmithing, Gasky Dillon Balance, LLP, and all the great supporters that we have here. Thanks again. We'll talk to you down the road. Lance, always a good seeing you.
You too, my friend.
Michael, take care.
Thank you, Dave.
And Hollywood,
you're out of here.
You're out of here.
Out of here.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.